Hey everybody, this is Death by D4 and welcome to my guide on how to play as the Barbarian class in Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. There's a lot to go over, so be sure to subscribe, and let's dive right on in. At first level, you get a d12 for your hit die, proficiencies in light armor, medium armor, shields, simple weapons, martial weapons, strength saving throws, constitution saving throws, and 2 skills of your choice from animal handling, athletics, intimidation, nature, perception, and survival. You also get Rage, which allows you to use your bonus action to gain advantage on strength checks and strength saving throws, a flat bonus to your strength-based melee weapons damage rolls, and resistance to bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing damage for up to 1 minute. As well as Unarmored Defense, which allows you to add your Constitution modifier to your Unarmored AC. Just in case you were curious, yes, this does in fact stack with a shield. So what does all of this mean? Well, with your enormous hit die and your added incentive to invest into your Constitution score for Unarmored Defense, you're easily going to be the tankiest character in the entire party. The fact that you even have armor proficiencies is almost insulting because you're probably never going to use them. Your weapon proficiencies are amazing, but you should just know that Rage will only benefit you if you're using a strength-based weapon, so I would highly recommend just sticking with those. As an added note, you also get more out of your later features if you happen to be using a high damaging weapon like the Great Axe, so maybe try and get your hands on one of them as soon as possible. Otherwise, with your pretty mediocre selection of skills, you're pretty much looking to only pulling your weight around during combat. That said, this is still an outstanding selection of features to have at first level. At second level, you get Danger Sense, which allows you to gain advantage on dexterity saving throws against things that you can see. Admittedly, this feature sounds pretty good, but I honestly don't think it really is. Dexterity saving throws are never going to be one of your best saving throws to begin with, and this feature actually requires you to see the threat in order for this to even take effect at all. Either way, there's potential for it to be useful for you, but I highly doubt it's going to really matter that much. Now, as for something that is good, you also get Reckless Attack at second level, which allows you to gain advantage on all of your strength-based weapon attacks at the cost of giving your enemies advantage on all their attacks made against you until the start of your next turn. In spite of this downside, this is actually an amazing feature. You should basically be taking advantage of it all the time while you're raging. At third level, you get to pick your Barbarian subclass. So far, you can pick to be an Ancestral Guardian, a Battle Rager, if you're a dwarf, a Berserker, a Storm Herald, a Totem Warrior, and a Zealot, all of which give you new features at 3rd, 6th, 10th, and 14th level. Honestly, just pick whichever speaks to your character the most. I won't go over all the features of these subclasses right now, but if you'd like me to in a future video, please let me know down in the comments below. At 4th level, just like everybody else, you get your ability score increase, which you get again at 8th, 12th, 16th, and 19th levels. On the topic of stats, I'd be sure to max out your strength score as soon as possible, followed up by your constitution and your dexterity scores. Honestly, unless you really want to for some reason, just ignore your intelligence, wisdom, and charisma scores, as they're going to be doing basically nothing for you. At 5th level, you get extra attack, which allows you to attack twice during your turn. Simple, yet highly effective. You also get fast movement at 5th level, which increases your walking speed by an additional 10 feet when you're not wearing heavy armor. Nothing crazy, but this is still relatively nice. At 7th level, you get Feral Instinct, which gives you advantage on initiative rolls and, if you're ever surprised while not incapacitated, you can use your bonus action to enter into a rage to act normally on your first turn during combat. This is a pretty good feature, though admittedly not all that effective. Still, not bad though. At 9th level, you get Brutal Critical, which increases your weapon's critical hit die by 1 additional die. You also get an additional die at 13th and 17th levels. At this point, you should basically always be using your Reckless Attack, because the sheer amount of damage you can dish out with a single critical hit now is now just getting absurd. It's also for this particular feature why I recommend that you take a weapon like the Great Axe, as it will give you more damage for these critical hits then because of its larger die size. Just don't fall into the trap of using a greatsword, because yes, that will only grant you a d6, not 2d6. Many people don't seem to realize this. At 11th level, you get Relentless Rage, which allows you to make a Constitution saving throw if you're reduced to 0 hit points while you're raging. If you succeed the rather measly DC of 10, you live at 1 hit point instead. That said, the DC of this save will increase by 5 every time you succeed it, so just make sure you don't abuse it. Though with how high your hit point total actually is, you're probably never going to hit 0 hit points that often anyway. Anyway, it's still a nice feature to have. At 15th level, you get Persistent Rage, which means now that your rage will no longer end unless you're knocked unconscious or if you choose to end it. Honestly, this is just more of a convenience than anything else, but it does allow you to maintain your rages in between combats, extending the uses of each rage when you actually use them. So that's pretty nice. At 18th level, you get Indomitable Might, which means that whenever you make a strength check, the minimum value that you can roll is equal to your strength score. Yes, keep in mind I said your strength score, not your strength modifier. This is actually quite impressive, but also kind of trash, especially for 18th level. Honestly, I don't even know how much you're actually going to use this, which is kind of a shame. Finally, at 20th level, you get Primal Champion, which increases both your strength and constitution scores by 4, and raises their maximum values to a staggering 24 each. Oh yeah, you also get unlimited rages at this point, how lovely. Anyway, this feature is absolutely ridiculous. At this point, you're looking at having an average hit point total of like 285, and an unarmored AC of 22. This is just incredible, and it definitely is a great capstone feature for this class to receive. Alright, so that does it for all the class features. Now just onto a few of my own personal recommendations concerning it. If you'd like to play as the Barbarian and you're stuck on choosing a race, I'd recommend the Half-Orc. It gets you Dark Vision, bonuses to your Strength and Constitution scores, proficiency in Intimidation, the ability to live one near-fatal attack at 1 HP for free, and an additional die to your melee weapon's critical damage rolls that also happens to stack with your brutal critical dice. Though I never concern myself too much whenever I'm picking a race, this is definitely a really strong pick for you to have if you have no idea where to start. Now, as for feats, there's no way I couldn't just recommend Great Weapon Master, as this feat stacks amazingly with both your reckless attack and your brutal critical features. Otherwise, Tough could be good to help give you an even larger hit point total, and Savage Attacker could also be good, as it'll help increase the odds of you rolling really high for your damage rolls. Also, if you do happen to take a race like the Half-Orc for yourself, consider taking Orcish Fury, as it could help you out a number of different ways during combat, including pushing the power of your critical hits to even higher amounts, which is always fun. And that's it. That's everything you need to know in order to play as a Barbarian. Personally, I believe that the Barbarian class is best played as a front-line attacker whose role is to help deal large amounts of damage and soak up powerful attacks for the rest of the party. However, that's just my opinion. So what are your thoughts on the matter? Are you excited to give the Barbarian class a try? And if you have already, what was your experience with it like? Let me know down in the comments below. If you'd like to support the channel, be sure to give this video a like and consider supporting me over on Patreon. Patreon supporters gain access to my Patreon-only server over on Discord, where you can come and join in on my games, and chat with me and other patrons about everything D&D related. Be sure to subscribe and hit the bell icon if you haven't, and if you're interested in seeing more videos of mine, here's one right up over here. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see all of you in the next video.